I'd like to please introduce Senator Chang-Diaz. She is the first Latina elected to the Massachusetts State Senate and represents the 2nd Suffolk District, including Jamaica Plain, of which I am a constituent of hers. Please give a big round of applause to Senator Chang-Diaz.
As a constituent as well. Thank you for that introduction. I also want to recognize another colleague who's joined us, another colleague from Jamaica Plain, Representative Liz Malia. Here's what we know about employment discrimination against transgender people. It is real. It is very, very real. Transgender people experience rates of unemployment twice that of the general population. A national survey of 6,500 transgender people published in this past February found that of those who lived here in Massachusetts, 76% reported experiencing harassment, mistreatment, or discrimination in employment. 20% reported that they had lost a job. 39% were not hired for positions they applied for, and 17% were denied promotions. When you break this down according to the numbers for transgender people who live in the state, that means that 6,600 Massachusetts residents have lost a job. 12,900 were not hired for a job, and approximately 5,600 were denied promotion simply on the basis of who they are. That is wrong. But here's something else we know. Employment discrimination against transgender people is costly. Not just in the emotional, physical, and spiritual costs of despair due to the chronic condition of unemployment motivated by bias, which I think so many of the people in this room unfortunately know all too personally, that cost. But it is costly in terms of hard financial losses to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And we know that the state is spending $3 million a year. $3 million a year. Let's just think about that in the context of the state budget deficit that we're dealing with right now. $3 million a year in health insurance benefits through Mass Health and Commonwealth Care for transgender people who are otherwise employable and ready to work. We know that the state is losing millions more in income taxes that are not collected because otherwise employable transgender residents are out of work. And we also know that hundreds of Bay State businesses are already way ahead of the public sector on this one because they prohibit discrimination against transgender employees. And these are companies that are highly respected for their financial savvy and for their corporate citizenship here in Massachusetts. Companies like Staples, Raytheon, State Street, NSTAR, TJX companies, Harbor Pilgrim Healthcare, John Hancock, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and Bateman Company. These companies know that it is good financial policy to support their transgender employees. And this is a bill that will not cost the state a single dime, but it has the potential to save us millions of dollars annually. I don't know about you, but that sounds good to me as a taxpayer, right? The simple truth is that as a state, we simply cannot afford not to pass this bill. Our next speaker is Ava Kraus. She is a veteran of our armed services, and I'm going to say that again. Ava is a veteran of our armed services, and I'd like to just ask for a round of applause for her service. Ava is educated, she is a skilled financial manager, and she has been out of work in her industry for nearly 3 years because of bias against transgender people. I ask you please to listen with open ears and an open heart to her story. I thank you so much for being here. As Senator Downing said, to be lobbyists for truth. He is so right when he says that there is nothing more powerful for me and for our colleagues when we hear directly from the constituents in our districts about how our choices in this building directly affect your lives. So I thank you for taking time and personal risk to be here to be those lobbyists for truth. And I thank Ava so much for sharing her story with us today. Ava?